Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Iqwan bin Samsudin and my friend Muhammad Amirul Izzat Shazam bin Ahmad Rizal. So for today, my group will present about handball. So the first one is the history. Handball is started from the 19th century. The modern game of handball was first played in Scandinavia and Germany. Then it was continued in 1910. Field handball was recognized at the turn of the century, and J. Wallström introduced the sport handball to the nation of Sweden. In 1928, the International Amateur Handball Federation, which is IAHF, was set up on the occasion of the Olympic Games in Amsterdam. It is the first appearance of handball in Olympic Games. Then continued in 1936, the appearance of field handball in the Berlin Games. 1938, the first field handball world championship being played in Germany. Then continue with 1972, indoor handball was presented for the first time at the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich. Yugoslavia as the gold winner or gold medal winner. Then continue to the 1970s, the introduction of women's handball to the games took place in Montreal, which is in the Montreal is the first game of the women handball teams. Then continue. There is two organizations that you need to know within the sport of handball, which is the first one is International Handball Federation, founded in 1946, and also in Malaysia we have the Malaysia Handball Federation. So what is the actually equipment needed by the player of the handball and also the referee? So the first one is jersey. Any jersey which is light or having a different design. Then shoes. This is particularly needed, which is shoes that have a strong grip or a rubber grip on the bottom, on the sole. Then sock. Also short. If for Muslim, we are wearing the legging or tie. Then the glove for the goalkeeper and also ball when started the game. Then for the equipment, there are also the same things like the player, which is the first one is jersey. Then the next one is shoes. Then yellow and red card to give for to the player who are getting punishment, and also the last one is the whistle. So this is the dimension of the court size, which is the width is 20 meters and the length of the court is 40 meters. Also, the court is divided by two, divided by the center line, and also there are the goal area that divided by 6-meter line and also 4-meter line. And also there are free throw area, which is the 9-meter line, and also 7-meter line for the 7-meter throw. And also at the back, you have the baseline, and also you have the substitute area, and there is line on that sideline, which is the substitution line that you need to do the substitution on the substitution line. Then for the rules and regulation regarding the time is different within the age. For the age 16 and above, the game is played by 2 times 30 minutes, and also there is a break between the second half and first half is 10 minutes. For the age 12 to 16, there are 2 halves of 25 minutes. The break also 10 minutes. And for the age 8 to 12 years old, there are 20 minutes, 2 halves of 20 minutes. The break times are 10 minutes. So what happens if the game are tied with the same score? Usually when the game are tied by the same score, they are going to overtime, which is the first overtime equal to the 2.5 minutes, 2 half of 2.5 minutes, and also the break between the half is 1 minute. If the game also still tied, is continue with the second overtime, which is the same like the first overtime, which is 2 half of 2.5 minutes, and the break within the half is 1 minute. If the game still tie, it is continued with the 7-meter throwing as a tiebreaker to decide the winner. So for the format of the 7-meter throwing, a team should nominate a 5 player uh, to join the 7-meter throw, and those players need to stand on the 7 meter, and also for the goalkeeper need to stand behind the 4 meter line, and the opponent that did or shooting need to shoot under the 3 seconds. There's a video that you can see afterwards, and I will share the slide. So for a team, a team consists 40 players. There is 7 in the court and also 7 substitution will be in the bench, which involve the 1 goalkeeper and 6 players in the court. Maximum 4 team official, neither player nor substitute, which is the team official is someone that handle the team, like the manager or the water boy, or medkit. And for the substitute may enter the court at any time and repeatedly as the player in court has out from the court, which is the player need to substitute in the substitution line. The players involved in the substitution should always leave and enter the court over their own team substitution line, as I mentioned earlier. If an additional player enters the court within a substitution, or if a player illegally interferes with the game from the substitution area, there shall be a 2-minute suspension for the player. Thus, when the player have the 2-minute substitution, the team will play with 1 less player. So this is the position for a player. Usually the red one is for the attacking phase, and also the light yellow or light orange will be the defending position. So for the gameplay, the handball is a game started from throw off at the center line, and a player that started the throw off do have a 3 seconds after the whistle is blow and need to pass and start the game. A player do have a 3 steps and 3 seconds to pass the ball or passing without dribbling. By dribbling, it will reset the 3 step and 3 second pass time. And also in addition, when a player stop the dribbling, they got the 3 seconds to pass the ball after the dribbling. So a court player beside goalkeeper are not allowed entering the goal area except goalkeeper. It is allowed to enter goal area during attacking without the feet touch the ground of the goal area, which is when the player try to shooting, he is on the airborne of the goal area and shoot without his or her feet touch the goal area. And for the point, 1 goal equal to 1 point. Then continue to the fall. Usually, for that happens in the handball or card system, there are yellow card. If a player did a first time fall, the referee usually give a yellow card or sometimes a warning. If a same player did a second or third time fall, which it's not warning, but same like the yellow card, they are given the 2 minutes suspension. During suspension, you cannot do the substitution. Means the player cannot do the substitution and need to be suspended 2 minutes out of the court. And if the getting the fourth or getting the third time of 2 minutes suspension, which means he got the first 2 minutes suspension, the second first 2 minutes suspension, and then he or she get the 2 minutes suspension, then the player will get the red card, which means the red card is disqualification of the player, and the team will play with less player for the whole game. Usually red card is getting difference on the fall that the opponent or the defending player happens to do to the opponent. So a team could collect up to 3 cards in 3 yellow cards in a total. and one player could have a yellow card one time only. So for throws, there are four different throws that are usually happens in handball. The first one is throw off. It initiates play at the start of the game and start of the second half, which means when you are starting the game at the first half or the second half, then you start it at the center line and you pass. After the referee has blown the whistle, throw off must be taken with the second, which means when the referee blow out the whistle, then you need to pass the ball. A throw off also can lead directly to a goal. Then the next one is a throw in. A throw in is awarded if the ball crosses the sideline, which means if attacking shooting the ball, then the ball defend by the goalkeeper or by the defender and then deflect to the sideline. Then the opponent or the attacking team will get the throw in. Um, then the goal throw is taken by the goalkeeper from the goal area. Goal throw can happen when the opponent score, and also a goal can be scored directly from a goal throw, but it is rarely happen a goal throw that scored directly from a goal throw. Then the free throw. Free throw is given when a player deal fall to the opponent during their attacking. Free throw is taken at 9-meter line or free throw line. Usually, if when attacking, the defending did fall to the attacking, usually the attacking side will get the free throw, and also it different judgment of the referee. Sometimes it is a warning or the yellow card to the player that concede the fall. Then for basic skill, I will continue to Amir Izzat to continue the presentation.
So in the basic skill, we have four basic skill in handball. The first one is shooting, and next one is catching, passing, defending, or blocking. Okay, the first one is shooting. In this case, mostly needed for shooting the ball toward the net. Combined with the accuracy, power shot will be difficult for any goalkeeper to save the ball. The next basic skill is catching. Catching is the most often used when we pass the ball or play as a goalkeeper. It's important to work on your hand and your eyes coordination because if you drop the ball, you will give your ball a chance of your opponent to get position. The third one is defending or blocking. In handball, blocking mostly used in the form of pick and roll. And your teammate will stand in front of the defender so the ball can be carried easily toward the another goal. And finally, this is the most important basic skill is passing. Passing, the ball is very important in the game of handball, and you will be passing the ball to your teammate. Next slide. So we'll divide the drill into the two. The first one is for the beginner and the second one is for the expert. Okay, for the passing and catching drill for the beginner, one player will stand about 3 meters in front of another player, and this player will fit into the group and pass to another player. And if the player caught the ball from the feeder and pass it back, they run back to the back on cue. Next. Okay, for passing and catching drill for the expert, you need two ball in this situation and four corner and minimum of at least five player to do this drill. Start by passing the ball around the square corner accurately at pace, and then your player will follow the pass to the next coin, and then you need to move to the next corner where you pass the ball. And in this, you need to pass and move and to make yourself available to another player to pass the ball. Next. So this is the shooting drill for the beginner. Uh, so the player will try to score a goal by standing outside the D box. And for this, there is no keeper placed in the goal. They will be use the cone to replace the goalkeeper, and the player will repeat the shooting exercise 8 times and will try to score the goal. Next. Okay, the for shooting drill for the expert, this drill player will be sent the ball by another player, and the player will try to pass the corner that have been placed in front of the D box. So after the player pass the coin, the player will try to shoot toward the goal gate while dribbling past the cone. Next. So this is defending drill for the beginner. This is very easy drill. So the player just need to move around the D box as they were defending the goal box, and they will put their hand up. Next. Next is the defending drill for the expert. Two defenders are required in this drill, and they will play as a pair. Player one, as you can see on the image that I put, player one in the blue will pass the ball to the player two in blue, and player two need to pass the red defender one and two in front of them. So the defender one and two in red will try to block the attacker who will try to score the goal. Next. So for our mini game in handball, we will play 3 versus 3. The player will only play in this match is 3 player and will use a smaller court than a regular handball field. So the goalkeeper will be replaced by the target. So the player must throw at the target to get point. This will play for 5 minutes, and the first team that get the 10 point will win the match. And after the team win the point, we will continue to the other player match. Next. So the teaching method that we use in our handball, we use 2 teaching methods. The first one is we introduce them to the entertainment that related to handball, such as game or anime. This will help them to understand more about the gameplay and the position of the player. They will also attract the attention of the student to play handball. The second teaching method is the student-centered learning. Students who have a clear understanding or have played the handball has an understanding of the fundamental of handball will advise the knowledge and will instruct another student. And the teacher will act as the observer to the student. And another thing that we can do is we will before we enter the class, we will show them some basic skill of handball in, like for example, in YouTube. Next slide. So for problem solving, the first problem is how to avoid injury when playing football. So for the solving method is we need to warm up before doing the handball activity, and while we playing we need to use the correct technique and wearing the equipment that needed. And finally, after we play handball, we need to do the cooling down after activity. So the next problem is a different level of student understanding about handball. So the student that have not tried play handball, they will have difficult to learn about the handball. So our solving method is will divide the student into 3 categories. The first one is novice, the beginner, and the intermediate. So after we start from novice, and then we will go to the beginner, then we go to intermediate. So for the novice, we'll introduce an basic skill that student need to know. And then for the beginner, we'll do a lot of repetition without repeating. And finally, intermediate is we will use a variable of skill and action. Next slide. So this is our team code. You want to say it, Equal?
Okay. So for our group code is never say never because limits like fears are often just illusions. This word is by the Michael Jordan. So that's all from our group. Thank you for listening and watching our presentation. Thank you.